Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy, we are going to be discussing double barrel tanks. Specifically, the double barrel mechanics found on the tanks across the various nations that have them. I'm sure many of you have been playing the game for a while and have maybe ground out the Russian double barrel branch, or perhaps you have even earned a couple of the double barrel premium tanks that have been made available in like various stores or the season pass or other avenues of being able to get a hold of them in the past couple months or year or so. And by playing these vehicles, you may have noticed that there are some obvious differences in the way these mechanics behave from one nation to another. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be covering those obvious main differences, so that way you are made aware that not all double barrel tanks are exactly the same. So, without farther ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so here we are on Airfield, and we are in the ST2. Now, with the double-barreled vehicles right now, currently there are 4 nations that have double-barrel tanks. There is Russia, the United States, France, and the United Kingdom. The latter two are recent additions to receive double-barrel tanks. Currently, right now, only the UK has a very unique double-barrel mechanism compared to the Russians, the French, and the US, who all share the same double-barrel mechanic. Again, the UK tank has a unique system, which we will cover in a second. Firstly, though, I want to show how the French, US, and Russian tanks' double-barrel mechanic works. So, as you can see here, I have the 2 gun statuses, and I have my left gun selected. So I can fire that, and both guns are going to go into a cooldown. We can see the right gun is currently loaded and ready, and the left gun is currently loaded. Once the guns have entered the cooldown or finished it, I can fire the second gun, and then both guns go into a cooldown. And then once the cooldown is finished, I can fire the left gun right away without impacting the reload of the second gun. However, if I want to fire both guns, I need to wait until both barrels are loaded, and we will see that here in, less than 5 seconds. So I've loaded, I've fired both, and then I'm going to switch to the single barrel. We can see here that both guns are cooling down, and then the right gun is going to load first, because that's the gun that I currently have set as the active gun. And then, of course, I will be able to fire that, and again, we will revert back to where the left gun is going to be in the middle of reloading without the cooldown impacting it. That's basically how the double barrel mechanic works for the Russians, the French, and the US. And now we are going to go and take a look at how the UK double barrel tank currently works. Alrighty, so now we are in the UK heavy tank. Now, this tank, as I said in the previous segment, is different from the French, Russian, and US tanks, as in its mechanic functions differently. So we are in single shot mode, where you are going to see here that both guns are loaded, but when I fire the first gun, instead of there being a cooldown, the second gun locks down. I can't fire it whatsoever until the first gun finishes its reload, and then I can fire it. We can see the same thing happens once I fire the second gun. The first gun locks down, and I cannot fire it until the second gun finishes its reload. I am going to swap to both barrels, and we can see, just like the other nations, I can fire the double barrel like normal. However, when it comes to the reload, there is no cooldown. The first gun begins its reload, but then immediately locks down as soon as it's complete, until the second gun also finishes its reload. From that point, I can choose to fire both guns again, or I can select the single shot mode, and again, as normal, it will lock the second gun down, or in the case of the double barrel mechanic, it will begin a reload, and it will not allow me to fire that barrel until, of course, the second one has finished its reload. That's going to do it for today's episode. As I said, this is just a quick demonstration of the differences between the double barrel mechanics across the nations. This will obviously be subject to change if more nations are added, of course. And I would like to thank HD Jokers for taking the time out of his day to assist me with the making of these clips. If you found this video helpful and informative, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.